I'm a horticultural plant scientist, and honey fungus is the #1 problem people ask me about. If you care about your plants, honey fungus is worth investigating. If you've found mushrooms in your garden, and you worry they may be honey fungus mushrooms, watch my other video all about identifying honey fungus mushrooms. So, you've already seen your plant turning brown, wilting, or the leaves dropping off. These are some of the many symptoms of honey fungus infection. But these are also common symptoms of other plant problems and other plant diseases. To accurately make a honey fungus diagnosis, the plant roots are the key. This is really important. So, diagnosis step 1. Investigate the roots of your poorly plant. Get yourself a trowel or fork, then dig down carefully on one side of the base of the trunk or woody main stem. Scrape the soil gently away to expose an area on the lower stem and larger roots, a few inches below the soil surface. Start by focusing on one root, ideally a root thicker than your little finger, just like this. For a larger plant, like a tree or shrub, examine the roots in at least 3 different places around the plant. Use a small, sharp knife to cut off a little slice of the bark. The cut doesn't need to be too deep. See this top brown layer of the bark? Slice this top layer off. Honey fungus infection lives just under the bark, under the outer layer of the root. Take a close look at the small piece you cut off. Can you see any bright white lines just under the bark? If the white fungal growth is not clear, you can try using your thumbnail to peel back more of the bark on a section of the root, like you can see here. Honey fungus grows under the bark as a white, felty layer of fungal threads. Mycologists or fungal scientists call this white layer mycelium. As the mycelium of the honey fungus feeds on the roots, the plant declines and eventually dies. Back to your roots. Can you see these roots? It looks almost like marbling, with dark rotting plant material and white threads of honey fungus mycelium. This bright white layer in the roots of a poorly plant is a clear indication of honey fungus infection. But what if you still aren't sure? Take a sniff. Honey fungus infected roots have a very strong mushroomy smell. Under the bark you might see fan-like, felty, white fungal growth. The white fungal growth feels a bit like the skin you can peel off the top of a mushroom in your kitchen. If you also find soft, old, crumbling or rotting wood at the base of the plant, this indicates that the plant may have been infected with honey fungus for quite some time. So, finding white fungal growth below the bark of a root is a key sign of honey fungus infecting your plant. Diagnosis, step 2. Look through the nearby soil or rotting roots to find fungal structures called rhizomorphs, like you can see here. I'll explain. One way that honey fungus spreads between plants is through long, black, bootlace-like structures. These rhizomorphs grow under the bark of infected plant roots and into the soil to find new plants to infect. Honey fungus rhizomorphs are dark black on the outside surface. If you pinch a rhizomorph with your fingernail, it splits easily lengthways in a way that roots do not, and it's fluffy or cottony, almost pure white on the inside. The freshly split rhizomorph you see here also smells very strongly of mushrooms. Honey fungus rhizomorphs have a different growth structure to plant roots. They often branch and reconnect between parallel rhizomorphs. Here you can see this crisscross rhizomorph growth. If you find rhizomorphs around the roots of a dying plant, it's another clear indication of honey fungus infection. Let's quickly talk honey fungus mushrooms. You may be thinking, but why bother looking at the plant roots like we've just done? Can't you just identify honey fungus infection by the mushrooms? I'll tell you the details in my other video, but here's a super quick summary. Honey fungus mushrooms only appear at certain times, mainly autumn in the UK, and only in the right conditions. A plant can be infected with honey fungus, but have no mushrooms visible at all. Honey fungus mushrooms can be hard to identify, and you can confuse them with other fungi which won't harm your plants. What's more, not all honey fungus species are harmful, but it's very difficult to identify which species of honey fungus you have just by looking at the mushrooms. This is why the best way to diagnose honey fungus is to inspect the plant itself, like we've just done. If honey fungus is found in the roots of a dying plant, you know it's a species of honey fungus that can harm your garden. So what can you do if you've just confirmed it's honey fungus that's destroyed a plant in your garden? In the UK, there is currently no chemical treatment to control or destroy honey fungus either in the soil or in a plant. But there are many different strategies for honey fungus management. If you only have one infected plant, you can try to eliminate the honey fungus infection. So remove and dispose of the infected plant, including the roots. Then try to reduce contact between nearby plants, using barriers in the soil, leaving beds fallow, or temporarily planting grass to starve the honey fungus. Or, if you know that honey fungus is already widely established across your garden, you can focus on strategies to try to boost the health of plants in your garden. When replanting, choose less susceptible plants, or redesign the area using non-woody plants, because woody trees and shrubs are at most risk of honey fungus infection. I've put a link to a helpful UK-based honey fungus management guide in this video's description. But if you have a complex situation or valuable plants in your garden, I recommend paying for professional, personalised advice from a qualified garden specialist, such as myself. Don't despair. You can still have a beautiful garden with honey fungus. Honey fungus is a common disease in gardens. It's not unusual. It's part of the circle of life. And to loosely quote another 90s film, near, far, wherever you are, I believe that your garden will go on. Wishing you healthy plants and happy gardening.